My name is Huip Fransen. I would like to ask you talk about bringing classical music to the big audience, but that is like André Rieu is doing. So, but will there always be a conflict like you are looking for the highest standard and to bring the highest standard to the big audience? For me, there will be always a conflict.
Not necessarily, I mean, highest standard. I would not think that the mission is to instantly find a big audience for the B minor mass or something. But first of all, I think that statistically, there's many more people who are educated enough to appreciate a Handel opera, for example, which is beautiful music. There's the da capo aria, the nice melodies come back. If it's a nice production, it can be highly entertaining. So people who enjoy going to a musical, for example, could enjoy a Handel opera and would probably even, or hopefully, realize that there's even some added value to this kind of music making. And in general, I think it's opening up the music scene in a sense that people who are afraid of coming to a concert hall shouldn't be afraid. And the question is, well, my idea is to probably play the music in different places, for example, that the place itself stands for something else. If I do classical music in a place that normally is used for techno, first of all, it's a surprise for the audience to hear something new, and it will attract a completely different audience. And I know that nobody has yet invented the remedy for the slowly dying classical music scene. The sales figures, for example, for CDs are about half of what they have been 10 years ago. It's a little secret I can I can express tonight or this afternoon. So nobody has yet invented the remedy, but I think we need to do something and we need to be creative about it. And the concert ritual as me putting on a dark suit, walking out, I bow, I sing, then there's an applause, I bow and I go back. That's in itself probably not sufficient enough. If we look at films, if I buy DVD, I have the bonus features, I have added value, I have the director and the actors talking about what they like about it, what happened. And I think we live in a generation that appreciates the background knowledge, and the audience is probably also interested in hearing from the artist how he sees his work or why he likes a specific piece. And I experienced that the listening quality is a different one after I started talking in a concert. So just the change of a music concert, that after the first 2 or 3 songs, the singer says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome." The next 3 songs, I heard them first sung by Alfred Deller, and I was so moved because of this and that. And then I sing, it creates a complete different tension in the hall. So first of all, people heard my speaking voice, so anybody who has still confusion about why does he sing so high, yeah. No, that's one aspect, because otherwise I will not listen to the music. If the whole concert I wonder, but isn't it strange that he sings so high? So I solved that problem, and I have a few more people who really listen to the music. And I think that in itself already is a simple thing, that musicians explain themselves a little bit, and it will enhance the listening experience for the listener. Or conductor, we have these concerts where the conductor points the attention to certain aspects of a composition. Who told me recently there's a concert series played twice, where every piece is played twice in a concert. First they play the piece, then the musicians talk about it, and then they play it again. And of course, once you've heard musicians talk about it, you listen to it completely differently, and it enhances the listening pleasure. So that's one thing that could happen more often, I think.
Thank you. My name is Jasper Lichthart. The question I would like to ask you, we know that in classical philosophy, especially in classical ethics, when we think of Plato, for instance, beauty, truth, and the good are related. It's not possible to conceive of one of the terms without the others. So the question I would like to put to you is whether to play music or to listen to music will make one a better person? Where is the good?
It's a very, very good question. I think that that's why I included even Andrew Lloyd Webber and André Rieu in everything that happens in concerts. It's the soul-changing aspect that, for example, in Bach's music, Bach composed music to save souls. The mission was clear. It was meant to make us think, to repent, to be better human beings. And the collective experience, the ritual of the concert is, of course, on different levels, a mind or emotion-changing thing. So if on the simplest level, I could say the audience that leaves a concert hall is an audience that is different than the one that entered. If on a Friday afternoon concert I rush into the hall, I'm stressed, I just made it, and then I listened to beautiful music, and I came by taxi and I told the driver, come on, hurry up, I have to. The taxi driver experiences a stressed person. And then I enter the taxi to go back home, and the taxi driver will say, wow, I had lots of nice customers tonight. They came from a concert. And the next day you go to your workspace and you say, wow, yesterday I listened to Bach or the Rolling Stones or whatever. So there is, on a simple level, there's music can make us happy. And whenever, I imagine it almost like a neural network, that the planet, if you imagine the earth completely black, and wherever a concert is over, people leave the hall. It's always like a little flash light that radiates out. And so constantly, there's enough bad things happening. Constantly, there's a positive input into this world through the music or art exhibitions or film. And I strongly believe that this is what music can do. And the easiest level is it entertains us and distracts us from our problems. The next step would be that during a Bach Matthew Passion or something, I'm really moved to tears, for example, and I learn that I can open up through music, and I gather new ideas about my life, and ideally that's what art and music can do. And even in a Handel opera, the libretti that have been written in the 18th century have universal truths about human beings making difficult choices, realizing that there's no right or wrong choice, but one with probably less troubles or more troubles. And so I think every concert is a cell that spreads out into society, and yes, I believe that it's a mission, and it should ideally change us into better human beings. Yeah.
My name's Brent. Hi, hello.
Hi.
When I think about beauty and truth in music, the music that comes most to mind to me is things like The Art of the Fugue by Bach, or this sort of so-called context-free music without a very specific human context linked to it, or absolute music, or you could talk about, the fugues of Mendelssohn or anyone. But as a singer, I guess you sing words most of the time, if not all the time, which transmit a very specific semantic message all the time. And so most of the talk that's been going on today has been about the truth of that message. Mm-hmm. So I would like to ask, as a singer, do you engage at all with this kind of absolute context-free music? And if you do, how do you do that?
In a way, it needs to, even instrumental music, and I don't envy instrumentalists because they don't have the words, and they have to come up with, they have to make choices. But I think even the Art of the Fugue, the cembalist or pianist needs to extract something, needs to come to a conclusion of how could Bach have meant it. And funnily enough, the formal criteria of a composition, so here something starts, here it's developed, here it comes back again, and there's an end. So we understand sometimes a composition comes to an end. We hear something, and a certain formula in the music over a certain amount of time suggests to us, okay, soon it's going to end. And to me, and I think that's with Bach, I'm pretty sure, it also relates back to the rhetorical aspect. So I can pretend that I invent a meaning of a phrase, not a specific message, but I can say, this is urgent, the first movement. It moves forward. And here it's calm. And here I don't have any ambition anymore. You can play also with the impulse to extract something, or as an instrumentalist, then you could say, I play as if I'm alone on stage. I'm completely with my music. So these are the choices that you make, and it's far more difficult. But of course, when you have an opening movement of a Bach cantata, and I conducted a while ago in England the Baroque orchestra, and then I have instrumental music, and I have to find a vocabulary to talk to the musicians, to say, how do we mean it? Because piano is not piano. Piano stands for timid, piano can mean tender, piano can mean lovingly or whatever. So the dynamic indications, like ornaments in music, are just empty formulas, but if I want to communicate in emotion in instrumental music, I think I first need to be aware of what emotion I want to transmit, find the tools on my instrument, and then the third step again, hope that my message makes it to the audience. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Leander de Rooij. I was wondering, have you ever found a tendency towards the cliché in yourself? And if yes, how was the struggle?
Sure. No. The cliché in itself is something that we all work with, of course. It's an idea, and it comes from somewhere. So even the cliché has a root, and usually the root is nothing evil, but somebody's idea. But if I listen, for example, to a CD that I recorded many years ago, the Vivaldi Stabat Mater with Chiara Banchini, and then there's this cantata Cessate or My Cessate. And if I listen to it today, I say, yeah, that's how you felt at that time. But it's mainly beautifully sung. Even if the shepherd complains about how cruel Dorilla is, it's so beautiful how cruel she is. So yes, and at the time, of course, it's tempting to just say, okay, I create a beautiful sound. And as I said, there are singers. One of my students who was always badly prepared, and it was mainly sight reading lessons, and it was terrible. But when she knew a piece and she sung it, she opened her mouth and the audience was in tears. So although she never contemplated about what she wants to sing. Yeah, so there are these discrepancies, and it's what I always call the third step of the musical communication. So the cliché is there, and maybe even at days when or in a television show, for example, yeah, it's you sing in a TV show, and you know, well, this is what the people expect. It's the classic music show. It needs to look like classical music, and then you behave in a different way. But I think it creates so much happiness to get rid of the cliché that there's, other than experimenting with it or trying, how does somebody feel who sings like this, and you make a joke about it, but other than that, I'm not so tempted to fall back. The only thing is that you could fall into the imitation of yourself, that you have a certain way of singing and you repeat yourself in a certain way. Yeah.
Andreas, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much.
Wonderful.